everyone, it's Lee here. Welcome to my channel, Lee Creates. And I'm doing the last prompt for Junk Journal January. So Junk Journal January has been hosted by Meg from Meg Journals in collaboration with Get Messy Art. And it's been a month-long open challenge of prompts, one for every day. And the one for today is Reflect. So I might as well just cross it off. Okay, so it's been a very long month. It's been hard work doing these art journal pages every day. I'm glad that you've appreciated the work and have been leaving such wonderful comments. So thank you very much. Thanks to anyone who has joined through the challenge. A lot of, I don't know, I'm only a small channel and a lot of new people have come on board after finding me through this challenge. So I'm very grateful for that. And of course I have to say a wholehearted thank you to all of my regulars that have been with me from the beginning. So I really do look forward to making videos for you. Look forward to reading your wonderful comments. I'm going to do a flip through in a separate video, and I'm also going to have a couple of weeks off because I'm really tired. Yeah, so this has been a lot harder than I thought it would be. The last few times I've done it, I haven't done art journal pages. These ones seem to be taking so much longer because of the different techniques that are being used and having to wait for paint to dry and mediums to dry and that sort of thing. So looking forward to a break. So I thought for Reflect, I'd go back to the very first page that I did, which is this one here. So this is quite simple, but still lovely. And this was resolutions, so I thought I'd do something similar to that, using the same techniques, which was a bit of collaging, some water-soluble crayons, a bit of doodling, some splashes. So I want to keep it fairly easy on the brain. So I will do some collage to start with, and I'm just going to put in some book page. I'll stick a bit of that in, put some clear gesso over the top of that, and then start applying other products on top of those once the gesso's dry. So I'm just going to tear up some bits of this and stick it down. So have you managed to survive the 31 days? Have you been playing along or just watching? I know there's been a few people that watch me who are doing the prompts as well, which is fantastic to hear. Okay, I'm just going to stick some pieces of book text down, and then I'll get on with putting some colour on the page. So I'm going to use my Liquitex matte gel. There's my gluing agent today, which is what I've been using all through the month. I've got some drawing ink in this, and I just want to put some like fake writing. I've got some water-soluble crayons. Thought I might put a few marks around the place with them. I like the way that's turned out, the writing. Must have been still wet there. So this, as I said, is water soluble, but what I'm not going to do is put any water on it at the moment. I'm just going to let the other products that I put on top do that, activate that for me. So you're probably thinking this just looks like scribble, and that's exactly what it is. Scribble. And this is how you just let go of all your worries about how things are going to turn out, and just enjoy the process of making. I explained to someone about every piece of art goes through at least one ugly stage, possibly more. And you just keep working, and your ugly duckling eventually will turn into a swan. And if it doesn't, well, you just paint over it, or you put it in the bin. Or you can leave it so you know what not to do next time. Entirely up to you. So I'm really going for it with all these colours. I want something really bright today. Not sure how much of it will be seen. I'm going to put some gesso over this in a moment. Alright, gesso time. And I'm going to continue using this little gadget. So you can see the immediate effect that the gesso is having on the crayon. So I don't want to create mud with this, so oops, it's too much. I'm going to try not to mix like green and red and orange together. Try and keep them separate. So the moisture that's in the gesso is activating that crayon. And I don't have to put the gesso over everything. I can leave some bits. Come back to that later. Maybe. I hope that's better. I think there's too much light coming in the window today. I've had rain for the last few days, and it's a bit strange to see some proper light coming through the window. Okay, so now I want to put something on here, and I want to use my my stamp that I carved myself. It's my swirly stamp, so I thought I'll use this little plate here to help me spread some colour out, and then I'll put it onto this, and then I'll put it on the page. I'm just going to put a little bit on the plate. When you're using a jelly plate, a little bit goes a long way as far as paint goes. Okay, so I've just spread that out on the plate, and now I'm just applying it to my little stamp. And I think my first one I'm going to put down in this corner. Give it a good press down and see what sort of a print it makes. Yep, so probably could have done with a little bit more paint on that one. Oops. So some areas of it didn't have enough paint on it. That's fine. They don't all have to be perfect. So I'm going to put another one right here. So that's nice and fairly crisp and clear. I'll do this one here. Sort of remind me a little bit of zebras. Here, just to balance that out. And I think that'll do for that for the time being. Yeah, I do have a little stencil here. I might just run the brayer through that just to get the excess paint off. It's not going to create a perfect impression, but the pattern's still there. So I've spread the paint out on the little plate and move that across a little bit. I put my stencil down on top of it. And I'm going to use that. So that's going to collect the paint that's on the back of the stencil. Just a little bit there. But on the plate you can see I've got another pattern there from the stencil, so I'm going to put that on. Yeah, it did turn out very well. It's left a good one on the print on the actual plate though, but that's okay. What I'll do is just put the stencil back over it, and I'll put some gesso on there. Actually, no, I won't. I'm going to scrape some black paint over it, just so it's nice and crisp. Should be enough. That's better. Of course, we've got residual paint there, so I'm just going to plop that down there and run the brayer over it. Now, I feel like I want to get some more white gesso in there. It's looking a little bit messy, a bit dog's breakfasty. I do have this colour. I quite like this one. It's called Sand. It's just an acrylic paint. I think I might use a bit of that on there. I'm going to spread it with this little gadget, palette knife, or paint knife, and I'm just wanting to stay away from that area. Obviously, the paint's still wet there. Silly mistake. I just put it in the wrong place. So I'm just going to calm this down a little bit at the bottom here. So, and then I need to let that dry. Actually, I'll dry it with the heat gun. So I've got a mandala stencil here. I'd like to put that on there somewhere. And Not really sure what colour to use. I should use one of these really bright colours. Can't get much brighter than that though, can you? Let's see what happens. The worst that can happen is it looks horrible and I'll be painting over it. I quite like that. It's a really thick coat of paint there though. That's the only problem. It's going to take forever to dry. I've got orange just sitting here looking at me. Why not put some orange in there? When it all gets too much, I'll just gesso over it. Gesso is a bit like correction fluid for art. I've used a bit of this orange recently. It's got a little bit of it mixed together with the pink. That looks nice. It's nice and bright, isn't it? So what I should do is, that mixes beautifully. Makes a beautiful colour. Now I want to just put some orange down there. So this is a little bit like an ombre. It's nice and transparent too, so excuse me, you can see what's underneath. Yeah, it's going to have to dry again now, isn't it? I want some more of that pink in there. I just really like that. The pink and the orange mixed together, I think it's just best thing since sliced bread. It's fiery in a way. It's probably got a few people reaching for a bucket, maybe. Anyway, I like it. You can see everything that's underneath because the paint's transparent. You've got the colour, but you've also got everything under it peeping through. Like all that writing, that fake writing that I did, it's all there. The book page, I can see the book page. I can see the crayons. It's a bit like looking through a stained glass window. I just had an idea. On this side, I'm going to drag my wedge over it to see what it does. I do quite like that quiet piece in the middle. Don't want to do that anymore. Maybe a little bit here. Yep, that'll do. And over here, I want to put something on there, and I've still got this painty water sitting on my desk. I've somehow managed to be able to not knock it over, which is great. So this is just water that I cleaned a paintbrush out in. So I definitely think it needs to have some gesso put back in. I know you're probably thinking you've put it in, you've covered it up, now you're putting it back in again, but that's just the way it goes. Just work it out as I'm going along. The gesso is semi-transparent, so it doesn't fully cover everything, but it's going to give me some quiet bits, because I was thinking of, and I don't know whether I'll do this yet or not, I might change my mind. Instead of having a flower on the page like I did on the previous one, I might do a trail of leaves or something instead. Yeah, it's just whatever happens, how it works out. There's no plan. There's a few things that get done pretty much every time, but most of the time it's just made up on the fly, and that's what I love about it. It's nice and intuitive. It's what I feel like putting in there at the time. Okay, so that will dry a little bit clearer than it is. And I'm thinking maybe a little bit of this colour might be an idea to get in there. Just a couple of bits, like I've got the tiniest little bit on that paint knife there. Just as a little bit of point of difference to the white, you know, just to contrast it a little bit. So it's not stark white. Okay, I'm going to let that dry again. So I actually scratched in a design while the paint was still wet. I'm just going over it with my Stabilo pencil. That's my Stabilo All, which is a water-soluble pencil. So because I love purple and orange and purple and green together, I decided to paint this one purple, and I've decided that I'm going to do these ones green. And I'm going to use that lovely yellow green, this liquid by Matisse. Now I don't want to colour right into the edge. Because I want to see bits of white and bits of that orange in there, little bits of it. So it's got like a distressed sort of patina look about it. This colour is incredible when you mix white with it. It goes the brightest yellow. I'll just show you. This is the colour it is when you put white. It's just so beautiful. And it's nothing like it is when it's not mixed with white. It's a totally different colour. It's not dry yet, but I just had another idea. Instead of drawing around it, I'm going to use the ink, and then I've still got to let it dry. When I say drawing, I meant with the paint pen. So that's all dry now. There's just a couple of places that I sort of feel like here that there's not enough lightness there, so I'm just going to dry brush a bit of that into there. Just seems a little bit dense in that area. I just think that it needs one little pop of some colour that's not already on there, but I don't know which colour. I wonder if this is called Bora Bora, and it's well, it's a bluey sort of colour. Like a milky sort of turquoise. Yeah, I quite like that there. So I need to just put it in a couple of other places, otherwise it'll look a bit strange. And I'm checking in the monitor to see, because you can't really tell when you're right close, you're only a little distance away from what you're working on. You're better off, if you can, to step back if you're standing up, or look at it from a distance somehow, like in a mirror or monitor. Just helps to give you a better idea of what's going on. That actually reminds me a bit of speckled egg, that colour from Ranger, the Distress Oxide range. I just want a little bit up here, I think. That bird, I've chased it away so many times. It's so loud, and it comes and it poos on everything. It's cunning, actually. It sees you coming and it takes off. Yeah, I think that'll do. If I put any more on, I'm going to end up ruining it. Okay, so that's my reflect. So this is, well, it was going to be that. I was going to recreate that. I've done the same techniques. It's just turned out quite different colours. Let me know in the comments what you think. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down if you completely hate it. Tune in tomorrow to see the flip through of the whole journal. And in the meantime, have fun creating your own masterpiece. And hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo!